I'm here today to tell you some very exciting news, just in terms of perspective. And if you could just walk away with just a little bit of inspiration to get up and move and perhaps eat a little bit better, then I did my job. And if I didn't do my job, then before you leave, just come and I'd still give you a high five and hopefully make you feel like you had a good time here today. So, actually, you know what? It's worth it because you get a free shaker bottle, so then you're good. So guys, like I said, we're NC Fit. We do all kinds of great group fitness classes, and we're bringing them right here to this beautiful location right by you. And I want to first explain why we do what we do. Then we're going to explain how we do what we do. And then we're going to hit it with, when does this start? So the first question becomes, what are we trying to accomplish? What is the goal of this program, and what is the goal for all of you guys? And a lot of the times when people think about their fitness, they think about maybe looking better, right? Perhaps losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it may be. For today, I want to just talk about in bigger picture. So this is called the Fitness, Wellness, Sickness Continuum, okay? I know it sounds kind of boring, but point being is over here on the left side is sick. On the right side is fit. And somewhere in the middle is well. What our goal through our program is to take you towards fitness and away from sickness. So let's go ahead and break this down. So in the United States, if you walk into your doctor, right? And let's just say they look at certain metrics, okay? Let's just say they look at what? Blood pressure, right? Resting heart rate, body fat, can you pick something off the floor? Can you walk up the stairs without getting out of breath, right? They can look at all these and determine through metrics where you fall in this category. So we'd say someone over here in the sick category would have, a resting heart rate of 80 beats, 90 beats, 100 beats a minute, right? They'd have blood pressure that is way, way, way high, where the doctor prescribes medication for them, right? We'd say that they couldn't walk up the stairs without getting out of breath. And we'd also say that they couldn't pick something up, like they'd have a hard time doing that. We would say at that point, they're right here in this sick category, meaning that unless they do something with their lifestyle, right, they're going to end up potentially needing someone to support them in their daily lives to do functional tasks, right? If they can't get up off the toilet seat, eventually that will become a problem, right? And they're kind of hovering right here. They're on all different types of medication, but they're just hovering. Then you have Americans who are kind of in this well category. And we'll consider well being, a lot of Americans, right? They go to their doctor and the doctor says, hey, look, what you're doing is not great, but what you're doing isn't bad. Come see me in a year and we'll reevaluate. You guys ever heard that from your doctor? Okay? And in that case, right, your blood pressure is moderately normal, maybe a little bit high. Your resting heart rate's a little bit high. You have body fat that's, 25, 30%, whatever it may be. You could pick up something that maybe weighs your amount off the floor, and you could go up 1, 2 flights of stairs without getting too out of breath, right? We'd say that's right about here. Then you have these people who are fit. Fit across everything, right? They could lift 3 times their body weight off the floor. They could run up the stairs to go help someone and not be out of breath. Their resting heart rate's like 50 beats a minute, 40 beats a minute. Their blood pressure is great. Their cholesterol is great. All these numbers are awesome. When they go to their doctor, you know what the doctor says? Hey, whatever you're doing, tell me about it because I want to prescribe this to my other patients. Okay? So everybody with me so far? So there's these 3 categories, right? And everybody, myself, everybody in this room, can be on there at some point, right? Wherever it is. So I have a quick story for you. My mom and dad are the greatest human beings on the planet. My mom and dad were not doing fitness for a long time. And I was encouraging them like crazy. Their son owns a gym. It's fully complimentary. I even sent a trainer to their house. I gave them a rower. I did everything I could, but they wouldn't do it, right? It's like, oh man. My mom, though, was right about here, okay? She was on some blood pressure medication. She was about 50 pounds overweight. She was having a lot of trouble, right? She was getting out of breath quickly, and I was concerned. So my daughter was about 2 years old, and she was a little bit bigger, and so she weighed maybe 40 pounds, whatever it was. I think it was like 30, 40 pounds. And the spark that interested my mother into getting into fitness was the fact that my mom was having a challenging time lifting my daughter and putting her into a car seat. Have you guys ever put kids into a car seat? It's kind of hard sometimes, right? And if you're not fit, if you don't have that strength, it's very challenging. So the spark for my mom was she just sat there and she's like, if something happened to my granddaughter, I can't pick her up. I can't run very well with her. I am putting my granddaughter's, safety at risk because I can't lift her. So guess what she did? She started coming into the gym. She started eating better. And we took her from where she was at on this continuum and we moved her this way. Now, my mom has lost 50 pounds. She's off all medication. She could lift 2 times her body weight from the floor, okay? So the chance of her not being able to pick up my daughter, it's non-existent, right? And what she did, guess what, guys, is she went from sickness towards fitness. That's one example. Now, here's the kicker. In life, sometimes things happen, okay? And I'm going to give you a real life example right now. And this is going to be a little bit heavy, and I'm sorry to drop this on you. But real life example. My mom comes into the gym, and she loses 50 pounds. She gets off blood medication. She's doing great, right? Unfortunately, in January, my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Okay, this is a true story. My mom didn't exercise or do anything for the last couple of months because she's been taking care of my son, okay? But guess what? Because she's built up a hedge against sickness, she's still, so let's just say, right, before my daughter was diagnosed, she was right here, right? All of a sudden, she stopped exercising. She started eating poorly, and because, we had a lot of stressors going on in our life. However, she had a long time to correct the mistakes she had made before she got back to this point. So for 2 months, she wasn't exercising. She was feeling, not as good. And then now she's back in it, and she's doing great. But you know what? She went from here to right here, right? But imagine if she hadn't came in and worked with me in the beginning. Imagine if she was right here, okay? And something like that happened in your life. It's very simple to go from right here and go into that sickness category. Do you guys kind of see where I'm going with this? So our goal with our fitness program that we're bringing for you guys is bigger than just, some dumbbells and some running, right? It's bigger than that. It's really trying to create a hedge against sickness by working towards fitness. We're essentially putting money into your fitness bank account. And the bigger your bank account is, regardless of what happens to you in your life, you have the capacity to then stay away from this. Any questions on this concept that I'm going over right now? Sorry to drop that on you guys, but it's a true life example of why this is so important. So this is why. Now, never used one of these before. It's kind of cool. Now, it's time to talk about how, right? So how do we get you guys from sickness towards fitness? Or wherever you're at today. You might be in the best shape of your life, but could you get better? That's the question. Well, we do that through 2 very important things, guys. How many of you guys ever tried to, exercise on your own? A couple of you guys? Is it that fun? Not that fun. How many of you guys have ever done community sports? Like, have you guys ever done, played sports in high school maybe? Yeah, it was a little bit more fun when you had a bunch of friends around. Sometimes, right? It was. Because you had a group of like-minded people to work hard with. And so what we're really good at NC Fit, what we're bringing to Silver Springs, is community-based fitness. And the reason why community-based fitness is so beneficial is that you have your peers to help support you along this fitness journey, right? So here's what we're going to do. Where you have community, and the second thing we're going to bring you that's even more important than community is going to be coaching. So the other day, my wife she's like an aspiring chef. She cooks a lot. And she cooks really good food. And I wanted to one day try and woo her by cooking. That was my goal. And I said to myself, how am I going to learn how to cook? Well, I could go read a book, right? Or I could go, maybe watch something. Or I could have someone actually come into my house and teach me one-on-one. If someone comes in and coaches me through it, I'm always going to perform better. When it comes to fitness, it's the exact same way. A lot of you guys walk into the gym. Has this ever happened to you before? You walk into a hotel gym. I see this all the time. You're on vacation, right? You want to work out. Me too. So you go down to the hotel gym and you walk in and you're just like, okay. I'm going to get on the elliptical for a few minutes and then I'm going to leave. Because you don't have any guidance, direction, or focus. Has that ever happened to any of you guys here? Don't lie. Yeah, I see a couple. Yeah. So guys, that's where a coach comes into play. For me, if I want to try and go make a lasagna, I have no idea how to do that. I need to go source an expert to have them teach me how to make the 7-layer lasagna that my wife is going to love, right? Tangent. So the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that with a coach, when you walk in the door every day to Silver Springs fitness classes, every single day, you will have someone there to support you, not only with the community, but more importantly with the coach, to give you direction and focus and to keep you safe. At our programs, we follow this concept, MCI. Every one of you that comes into our gym will first make sure that your mechanics are sound. Do you understand the mechanics of a proper squat? Do you understand the mechanics of these different movements? Then, can you consistently repeat that, 10, 20 times? Then and only then, we go ahead and give it a little bit of intensity or effort, okay? But this charter is how we keep you guys fully safe coming into our programs. Through community, you have fun, right? Through coaching, you get direction. And through constantly varied functional movements at high intensity, you get results. Our program is based off of constant variance, meaning every day you come into our gym, or a Silver Springs gym, every day it'll be different, every day. How many of you guys constantly go out and run like 3 miles a day? It gets a little boring at times, right? Or maybe you go on the elliptical for an hour. It gets boring, right? I've done many forms of fitness, but if you continuously repeat the same one, sometimes it gets a little bit boring, and your body starts to have unique adaptations to it, and so the same effect doesn't occur. With us, we constantly vary what we do. Sometimes we go longer, right? 30, 40, 50-minute workouts. Sometimes we go shorter, 3, 5, 7-minute high-intense workouts, right? We vary not only the duration, but also the movements that we incorporate, right? We do things like sometimes we go overhead, sometimes we lift from the floor, sometimes we lower and raise our center of mass. And these movements, constantly varied, are a great way to get results. We utilize functional movements. Functional movements is kind of like a key term. Sometimes you watch an infomercial in the middle of the night. You guys ever seen anybody like on a Boso ball say it's functional or whatnot? For us, what a functional movement is very simple. It's something that we could do in this gym to help us outside the gym. So when you come to our classes, right, which I hope you do, you're going to expect to have programs that have you squat, have you press, have you lift. Because those are the movements that we find outside the gym. My mom needed to lift, right? Lift something off the floor, right? She also needed cardiovascular, right, which we hit a lot too. But she needed to have those core movement strengths or core movements to help her build her strength. So we use constant variance, we use functional movements, and lastly, we're going to ask you guys to go at a high intensity or your best effort. There's been a lot of studies published lately, I don't know if you guys have seen them, on high intensity interval training. And essentially the concept is very simple. We want to kind of spark your body, okay? So basically what we want to do is we want your body to go through some form of traumatic experience, meaning your body says, wow, what just happened? Whatever happened to me, I want to adapt to it so it's not as challenging the next time. So things you'll find in our program are like high effort for a minute, rest for 30 seconds. High effort for a minute, rest for 30 seconds, which we believe and we've seen will give you a better bang for your time or buck than just sitting there at 30 minutes at a moderate pace, okay? That's a form that we do. But we also do the 30-minute at a single pace. So guys, for those of you that are just joining us, I had to use it again. So for those of you who just joined us, our goal is to take you from wherever you're at on this continuum, right? Let's just say you're over here, or maybe you're right here, sorry. And your goal is to go from wherever you're at today towards fitness. And the reason why I want to take you more towards fitness is for a very simple reason. It's so that you could live a better, more healthy lifestyle, okay? We do that through constantly varied functional movements executed at a high intensity. We utilize a community and coaching, and we follow a charter of mechanics, consistency, and intensity. But what's really important for me to leave you guys with is this. I've spent the last, 5 months in the hospital, okay? I come in and we stay there a lot. I've seen a lot of really sick people, many of which in the oncology department, they had zero to do with them being there, right? But then I see a lot of really sick people who have, heart disease and diabetes and certain different things that are lifestyle choices in some cases, right? So what I'm here pleading with you today, truly, is walk into our gym, meet our coaches, and take one step towards taking your fitness into your own hands. Because there's a lot of things in life, guys, that are outside of our control. But one thing that's in our control is eating better and taking a step towards fitness, because that's in our control. Any questions on any of this information?